welcome back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for your love and for your support. If you are new to the channel, you are highly and very welcome. And if you have not subscribed, please, I would appreciate if you hit on the subscribe button. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. It actually takes nothing to do that. Just hit on the red button, and then please, I would appreciate if you hit on the like button of this video. Actually takes nothing. Just like the video to make me know you appreciate what I did. Okay, so let's just continue. If you want to register for my online classes, you can just see my number scrolling through the screen. Send me a message on WhatsApp, and then I'll give you the details of the classes we have available. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew a princess dart pleat kid split gown. So this is like a beginner friendly tutorial. So this kind of gown, you can use it for anybody of any size and age. So you can just see the picture showed to you earlier on the thumbnail. That's what we're going to do. So you can see the fabric that I have here. I have about 2 yards of fabric. We're going to be using this fabric, and then I have my pattern paper. So for the top part, we're going to draft it on the pattern, and then we'll transfer it to the fabric. So now let's get started. So I have some lines here on my pattern. So this is my bust line. Sorry, this is my shoulder line, and then this is my bust point line, and then this is my under bust. So I'm going to show you the measurement that I'm going to be using. The bust measurement is 36. So you divide 36 into 4, we have 9 inches. The shoulder is 16. So you divide this into 2, we have 8. And then the half cut is 16 inches, and then we have the waist, which is like the round of the half cut, that's the circumference, which is 28. You divide into 4, I have 7 inches, and then the full length of my gown is 38. So these are all of the measurement. This is the bust point, this is the under bust, and then this is the half cut line. So I did not include that. So that's my half cut line. So these are all of the measurements that I'm going to be making use of. So now all of these measurements, now we're going to insert them on these lines. So the first measurement that we're going to insert is the shoulder measurement. Okay, so the shoulder measurement, like I said, you divide it into 2, and then we have 8 inches. So we're going to mark that 8 inches here, and then from this point I'm going to add just 1.5 inches here. Why I'm doing this is because I'm doing a princess dart pattern. I don't want it to get truncated. So from this point I'm just going to come down by half of an inch like this, and then that half of an inch I will slope it into the neckline area. So from this point now I'll mark my armhole measurement. So the armhole that I'm using is 14 inches. So you divide that into 2. I'll mark 7 inches here, and then I'll connect this with just a straight ruler like this. And then I'm going to create a curve on it. So you place your pattern curve nicely like this, and then you curve this in. So this is actually a sleeveless dress. So I'll show you how to reduce your shoulder part to make it into a sleeveless dress. So we'll mark that. And then the next measurement we're going to be adding is the bust measurement. Like I said, you divide the bust into 4, you have 9 inches. So I'm just going to come to the top part of this. I'm going to add my 9 inches. So after adding my 9 inches, I'm going to add my stitching allowance. So for the stitching allowance, you can add 2 inches, you can add 3 inches, depends on what you want. You can even add 1. But most times I would advise for you to add enough allowance. So this actually helps in case there's any problem. So it's better for you to trim it off than not to have anything to trim off if you run into any problem. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'll add 3 inches to for my stitching allowance. So that 3 inches, I'm just going to roll it down like this. Okay, so for my under bust measurement, I'm just going to reduce my half cut measurement. I'll just take out half of an inch from that. So instead of 7 inches for that, I'm going to mark about 6.5. So I've marked the 6.5. The next thing now, I'm going to include my dart. So for the dart, I'll use just 1 inch for my dart because it is not a bust here. And then I'll add my stitching allowance. You know, the first time for this, that's for the bust point, I added 3 inches. So for this, I'm just going to add 2.5 inches for my allowance for the under bust, and then I'll mark it like this. And then for the waist, we're using the 7 inches, which is 28 inches divided by 4. So I have my 7 inches here. I'm going to add my same 1 inch for that. And then on this part, I'm going to add 3 inches. So we have 3 inches allowance for the bust, 2.5 for the under bust, and then 3 inches for the half cut. So that is just how simple it is for this. Okay, so to mark my princess and that now, to take out my dart for the princess dart, I'm just going to check what I have here. I have 7 inches, so I'm going to come take half of that measurement, which is 3.5. I'll mark that 3.5 here, and then I'll come to this part. I'll use my bust pan measurement. So the bust pan is 8 inches. So that 8 inches, I'm just going to mark it on all of these lines, divide by 2. So that's 4. The bus pan, you divide it into 2, that's 4. And then I'll mark this. And then on this part now, so just see what I'm just trying to do. I'll use dotted lines just to curve this in like this. So you can see it is a simple process like this. And then I've marked it now. The next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to extend this line, because if I cut it out and then stitch it like this, it's going to truncate. So I'll just extend it by 2 inches or 1.5 inches, and then I'll mark, connect it like this, and then I'll give it a new armhole on that part. That's extending it, but on this part, it's just going to come in and sit together. So I hope you can see. So you can see I've connected it on that part. So I've connected it now on this part. So I'm just going to blend this into this part. So this is just how simple it is for me to cut out my dart. So on this part, the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to cut this out right now. So I'll use this pattern for both the back and the front. So first of all, I'll cut out the back pattern first before I add the neckline. So I'll use 3 inches. So I'll just take this off and just do it directly. So I'll use 3 inches wide. That's for the width of my neckline. I have 3 inches. And then I'm going to mark the depth. So I don't want it to be too deep. So I'll use 4.5 inches for the round. And then for my V, for the back V, I'm just going to come down by 6.5 inches for the back. So I'll show you how to mark that. So the same here. And then from this part, I'm just going to do this. You know the back is a V neckline. So I'll mark that. And then I'll cut this out. And then for out of our front piece, I would cut. So the next thing, I'm just going to cut my lining for my piece. So for the back piece, I'll open this up because it has a zip at the back. Okay, so I'll take this back to my machine now, and then I'll join my princess dart, and then I'll sew the neckline and turn it and sew the side. I'll do the same thing to the back piece, and then I'll iron it all out. Okay, so I finished stitching now. So because this is a sleeveless dress, so I'm going to show you how to achieve a beautiful sleeveless dress. So the next thing I'm going to do now, my armhole measurement, I'm going to reduce. That's my shoulder measurement. I'm going to reduce it. So for this, the shoulder measurement that we used initially was 16 inches, which is 8. So I'm going to use 14 now. I came in by 1 inch. So I'm going to mark it like this here. And then I'm going to mark my armhole. Since it is a sleeveless dress, you really don't want it to be too wide. So I'm going to give it a nice curve like this so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm trying to come in a little bit more. So I'm curving it in. So if you are making a sleeveless, this is what you need to do. So I've curved it in. So I'm going to place it on the back piece. So I'll place this on the back piece. Make sure that it is the same. So you can see what we have. Make sure that it is the same. It is staying nicely on it. and then before I cut this out. So with that, so you can see this part now is looking slim because it is a sleeveless dress. So I'll just cut like this. So if you notice, you see that I did not come in so much. I'm just trying to trim out everything nicely. Okay, so I'm good to go now. So my armhole is looking neat, and then I have my shoulder part is looking slim. So the next thing now, I'll go and turn this with my lining. So I'll turn the neckline, turn this round part, and then turn this. And then after turning, I'll use just 1 inch, that's half inch here, to join them together. I'll do that and then I'll bring it back. So I'll cut the down part of our gown. Okay, so you can see I finished stitching this. So this is the back, and then you see the armhole, everything is turned out nicely. So what is remaining now is just for me to iron it nicely. So after ironing, it's going to stay like this. This is going to come on top, and then I'll join the back and the front together like this. Okay, so you can see the armhole area. You see how they aligned properly. So I'll just use my allowance to join them together, and then I'll come back and cut out the front piece. Okay, so guys, you can see I have finished. So you can see the top part. You see how neat and beautiful it is looking. So the next thing now, we're going to cut the down part. So because the down part, I want it to open up a little bit more, so I don't want to cut my down part as straight. So the full dress is 38 inches. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make it 40 inches. So I'm going to add about 21 inches. That's what I'll cut out for the down part. So I'm just trying to make a straight line here. Just this will be like a start part. So I'm going to cut the front and then cut the back. So you can see what I have here. This is folded into two and this is folded into two. Normally, if it was straight without any pleats, this is just what I'm going to use. But because I want to add kiss pleats to it, what I'm going to do, I added extra. So it depends on how much you want, that's what you will use. That depends on how much how full you want the pleats to be. So for this, I'm going to use about 6 inches. That's extra 3 inches on one side and then 3 inches on one side. Or you can do for 4 inches, so you use about 8 inches. So from here, I'm just going to create like a triangle like this into this part. So you can see at the end of the day, this part is not really straight. So I'll measure my 21 inches. Okay, this is my 21 inches. So I'll move it down a little bit more. So this is my 21 inches here, which is okay. I added extra inches, just 2 inches because of stitching on the top and the down part. So this is what I'm going to cut out. So this is what I am literally going to pleat, one on one side and then one on the other side. And then you can see this effect that it is having at the down part. So you see it is a very simple process. So I'm going to cut out now, and then this I'll place to cut the back. I'm just going to add just zip allowance for the back piece. Okay, so I finished cutting the front and the back. So this is the back piece. I'm just going to keep it on the side. Let's work with the front. So it is a very simple process. So I just opened the side of my bodice a little bit. So what we are going to do now, I'm going to pin this. So I'll turn this to the right. This is the right side of my dress. That's the fabric. So I'm going to use my pins to hold it down. So once I get to this part where I have my dart, I'm going to create my key splits. So I'll turn it on the right side so I'll be able to see what I'm doing. So I want the center to be like box. So I'm going to take a piece from here, and then I'll take another piece from here like this. So the pleat the piece is going to be here like this. That's, you see the both of them like this. Just take this one. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. So for this part now, remember, so I'll just measure what I want. So you can measure what you want. Depends. So I have about 2 inches. You know, we said I'm going to take about between 2 and 3 inches. So I'll take them to 2 inches on one side like this. So I've taken it. So I'm going to pin them together like this. And then I'll come to this other side also, and then I'll take the same 2 inches that I took from that side, and then take the same 2 inches on this other side also. So I'll bring them close, just make sure. And then I'll pin them together so you can see the down. I hope you can see the down and the shape of our gown. You can see it's having that shape. The down part is open while the top part is small. So I'm trying to adjust the camera so you can see it properly. So you can see it is really looking beautiful, right? So that's how you actually do that. So the next thing now is just for me to take this back to my machine, and then I will stitch it together. So I have a little bit of excess here, just a little bit, but no problem. It's still okay that way. Oh. So I'll stitch that, and then I'll bring it back and show you. So the same thing I did for the front, I'm going to do the same thing on the back part of my dress. So they are the pleats, they are not lapping on top of each other. They are just staying on their own. So you can see how beautiful. I just love the outcome of this piece. It looks really fine. Okay, so you can see I finished joining, just like after just pleating, just go and join the front and then join the back also, and then I just fix my zip on the back. So I'll place it on the mannequin now for you to see how it looks at the end of the day. Okay guys, so at the end of the day you can see how our princess that pleated gown looks like. It came out really fine. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button, and if you have not subscribed to my channel already, please do so. Thank you so much. I would appreciate if you do that. Thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Yes.